There's a lot of heartache in this room, and you've lived it, and I just want to acknowledge that. And what you've lived is every parent's fear. And this dilemma that we have, if there's an easy solution to it, maybe the lawsuits is being proposed. If there was an easy solution, we'd get it. I want to talk to you, Emma, just if I can. This question of whether we can have an age limit, it's appealing, but is it practical?
Thank you, Senator, for your question. I have not spent a lot of time thinking through specific ages that should go on social media. I think looking at age verification is crucial in understanding how to build a productive solution. But to your point, I think the question we really have to ask is when children who know more than most parents enter these online spaces, how are they protected? Because we have seen time and time again that no matter the bans, kids find a way in.
Right, so they'll find a way in. And what we're hearing from you lost your son, the childhood sex exploitation. I mean, it's horrifying. And these are the examples of a system that is really gone amok, and it's a system that's legal. But even those kids who are not caught up in victimized in child prostitution or bullied into taking their own life, there's a mental health crisis. I mean, this is just not good for anybody. And kids, I mean, we were all kids once, and we're vulnerable at that age to what other people think of us. So I think there is a question here that is raised by Senator Hawley about how do we have responsibility at the point of entry, and that is the tech companies. And they've got a business model where they don't necessarily publish it, and of course that was Section 230, but they amplify it. As Senator Klobuchar, in her own Klobucharian way, was able to express it. And that's where the business model is sustaining this effort on the part of big tech, because the more clicks they get, the more advertising revenue they get. One question I have is whether it's time for us to create a governmental authority. That gets dismissed oftentimes. But when we had previous examples like the lack of seatbelts, it was the National Highway Transportation Board that was looking out after the public interest. When we had a lot of securities fraud in the 30s, we had the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's very tough here in Congress to come up with a one-off, especially in tech, because they just keep moving ahead. And whatever we do to try to deal with the behavior of kids, they're kids, and they're going to get on that platform. You want to say something, Doctor? But one of the proposals that Senator Bennett made and I made in the House, have a digital authority that had some authorization from Congress. Its charge was to protect the public interest, to look at the real world about what's happening to real kids and say, hey, this may be legal, but it ain't right, and we've got to do something. Go ahead, Doctor.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. I just wanted to mention an age limit is only going to be useful if there's some way to make sure that kids below that age can't get on. Remember that kids' brains are not fully matured at the age of 16. We cannot say that everything that's happening on social media now would be safe for kids at 16. In fact, please be aware that this is the time when most kids are now starting to get autonomy, driver's licenses, and the things they're seeing online are changing the ways that they're understanding what is risky versus not. Giving kids free rein to that content just before they get in a car and drive far away from their parents might actually be short-sighted.
Thank you. Ms. Bride, you want to offer anything after all you've been through? And thank you. I share, I think, the sentiment all of us have. It's so inspiring to see a parent try to turn tragedy into something good in the memory of her son. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I would like to see a combination of both. I would like to see federal legislation so that these products that we know are dangerous get reviewed before they're released to American children. The example of my son with the anonymous apps, we saw in the past They led to cyberbullying and suicides. Why were 2 other companies able to put out the same product? And on the other side of it, when things go wrong, yes, I would like to see Section 230 reform so that we can hold them accountable. But it should not take grieving parents filing lawsuits to change what's happening because it's too late for us.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator Welch. Senator Blumenthal has a question.
I have, thanks.